Alrighty, I will start the meeting then. Today is Thursday, September 18th, 2025. The time is 6:00 p.m. I'd like to open the meeting for the Wenham Historic District Commission. Everybody here say who your name is.
Here, Mary Wood.
Bill Garbati, Energy Systems Group.
Kirsten Alexander.
Lisa, are you here?
Yeah. Lisa, are you here?
No, it said she left. Expect she'll be back.
I'll just note when she comes in. Oh, there's Lisa.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. we can
Yes.
hear you now. Thank you.
All right. I'm here, Lisa Benke.
Okay. We do have one application. Matthew is back from Tender Crop Farm. I was just going to share the application again. He did add some more supporting documents as well. So I'll share that and then go from there. Right. And you're here, right, Matt?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Yep. You can just give another overview if you don't mind.
Now the what?
Another overview, please, of the application.
It's 93 Main Street, trying to change it over to look like a barn. Putting in 6x6 windows with wood trim and board and batten. So it looks like the farm stand.
Hi, everyone. Sorry I'm late. Bonnie Anderson present.
Thanks, Bonnie.
Those are the type windows, the 6x6 right there. And the boarding around the outside. Same colors.
This is the other information Matthew sent me as well. I just put this in the packet, but just showing you here again.
What it looked like and what it will look like. The top is what it will look like. The bottom is for what it looks like now.
Did this building ever have board and batten in the past?
No, it had a little of everything.
Can you explain?
It had some of the vinyl siding. It had those bay windows. I've only owned it for maybe 5 years. I haven't done much to it. I don't know what it was built. I don't know when they built it or anything. That was probably was an addition, a lot of additions, it looks like.
I asked Joe this, the type of windows that you'll be putting into the house.
It's gonna be a barn. The building is gonna have the 6x6, like it's in the same as the farm stand.
And those are wood clad.
What's that?
Are they wood clad or are they wrapped?
I'm not really hearing you good.
It's the same material as the current barn, correct?
Yes,
What
So,
is what are the windows in the current farm? Are they wood?
the outside is
Board and
wood, yes.
batten.
The
Oh,
outside is
no, I'm
wood,
talking about the windows.
Oh,
Can you,
The windows are wood?
the actual window, no, that's vinyl.
But they would be green?
Yep, just like that.
Do those have mullions or are they snap-ins?
Have what?
Are they wood mullion, are they the wood mullions, the crisscross, or are they snap-ins?
The wood,
They're wood?
yep.
Sorry. Would there be any signage on the building itself?
No,
I didn't see anything referenced to.
What will the building be used for?
storage.
Is there going to be a front door?
There is three, I think there's three, there's one, two, where is it? There's three doors.
Any changes to the doors?
No,
Would they be like a farm door?
they'll be painted green.
Okay. And they'd be wood?
I'm not really sure what they are right now, but they work. I wasn't planning on taking them down. I was planning on just painting them.
Oh, they're the same doors, you paint them green.
Yeah,
Do you have any other suggestions for the windows? Using vinyl is not allowed within the historic district guidelines.
are you talking to me?
Yes.
Do I have what?
Do you have the exact window materials? What it would be made out of?
I actually have the windows if you want to look at them.
Sure.
So
Where
as
are
part of
they?
the
Where are they to look at?
I'll have to bring them there.
Okay. All I can say, as I said last meeting, about maybe 10 years ago, when Jim Howard was head of the committee, we turned down board and batten. I just want to say that because it'll be on the record for the siding. That doesn't mean we have to turn it down this time, but
So Mary, I have a clarifying question about that, which is related to what I want to ask Matthew. So when board and batten was turned down, tell me, how is it that now Tender Crop has the same exact exterior that Matthew is proposing? I'm just curious. I wasn't here for that.
I don't believe that it was only the building in the front. We did not get consulted on the board and batten in the back.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying. So Matthew, the number one question I have, I think everyone here has asked great questions. I just want to hear, tell me, I was at Tender Crop Wenham earlier with my daughter. She asked me, what is this building, mommy? What is this? And I said, it's for storage. The owner came in front of the Historic Commission. He told us about it a few weeks ago. And they're going to change it to look exactly like Tender Crop. I just want to make sure I'm clear in the simplest way. You're just proposing that you make this storage building that's closest to the parking lot match exactly Tender Crop.
Yes, I'm trying to make it look like an old farmyard. It's a farm.
Right.
It's not an apartment complex. It's just a farm.
Yeah,
That-
I mean, this,
All
And
I
you got
know
the
is that
old,
match.
you got the old building in the back. That was the old original farmhouse. It's the duplex. I painted it white like a farmhouse is always used to be, white. I'm just trying to make the place, I cleaned the place up. It was a mess.
And so it all matches.
Yeah, so when you pull in, it looks like a farmyard.
Thank you.
We took the telephone poles that were in the field that looked terrible. We took the wall down in the front that had cement in it. I don't know why they did that. but we put the split rail fence to look more like a farm.
Thank you for clarifying that. So I'll end my comments and invite others to join just by saying, I think that having the front building match actual tender crop that we all shop at is the most logical, nice thing. I can't imagine being not for it. I appreciate the technical questions about specific materials. And that's where my fellow HDC members are the experts that I'll lean on for that.
So within the historic district guidelines,
We can't hear you.
materials like vinyl are not allowed to be used. Again, none of us on the committee, maybe except for Mary, were. Can you hear me at all?
Can now, yep.
Should we look at the windows
You
that
can
Matthew
now?
says he has?
Yeah.
Well, I'm asking him, just, can you explain the material choices or can you, Joe, the information about, is there a model number that Joe can pull up online? I asked him this while, prior to when your application was being resubmitted. If they're indeed vinyl, then we would have to ask for an alternative. Aluminum clad does work. You said that they were all wood, so now I'm a little confused as to what is really there.
Well, the vinyl is on the outside. I'll go look at, I mean, they can go look at them. Or I'll bring one to you.
And the wood is on the
See what it
inside?
is. I'm sure it was wood, we painted it.
It'll be green vinyl?
We painted it, yeah.
Oh, you painted the vinyl?
Yeah, we painted, it didn't come green. We painted everything.
What if it chips, or is it a paint that will adhere to the vinyl?
No, we had a paint that'd stick to it, but if it chips, I'll just repaint it. I don't want it a mess.
What material are the windows currently?
The outside, I know the outside is vinyl, the green that you see.
That's vinyl?
Yeah, the outside part of it.
In the storage building?
No, right now?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. You have to bring up the old pictures. They're just a bunch of, they're pretty much rotten. I don't know what they are. Probably wood. It's probably, you know, it's been a while. I don't know.
Do we have a picture of them, Joe?
If you can bring back the old building, Joe.
I don't have one offhand. I can,
Yeah, you were, when you were scrolling through it first, it was, the first thing we saw was the old looking.
oh,
Yeah,
yes,
there,
yes.
there it is,
Yep,
right there.
Yep, yep.
Is the outside of the windows, are they the profile of a wood? In other words, they're vinyl, but they could have the profile of a wood mullion,
Um,
or are they flat?
I don't know what, like I said, I really didn't look, but it looks like wood.
Looks like what?
It looks like wood, those old ones right there.
Oh, yeah, but these are different windows. We're talking about the 6/6, or are they 8/8?
No, the ones I'm talking about is 6/6.
Okay. I think we should look at the windows. What does everybody else think?
What do you mean, look
Yeah,
at
I
it?
just, if they're vinyl, they will. I would just like to know what the model number is of the proposed windows, because if they
Okay.
are
I'll
indeed
send it to
vinyl,
Joe.
then we'll just have to, you'll have to select a different model. That is, you know, again, with the configuration.
Okay,
that
I'll get the model number and send it to Joe.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Any other questions from the commission for Matthew? Okay, Kelly, just so I'm understanding, do you want Matthew to come back again, or do you want to vote on this for, as amended? As long as it's a certain material of window, I want to make sure I'm understanding the commission.
So I would like to make a motion to accept the application for the barn as designed and in the drawings. With the caveat is that we still need to know what the type of windows will be going into the building.
I'll get you the brand and everything. The builder has them. I don't.
Is there a second on that motion?
Just clarifying, the motion as written, we just need to know what it is, but do we need to approve what it is?
I think we have to see the windows.
So they're not approved. Just getting clarification.
The windows are not approved.
So what are we approving then?
So the building, so I make a motion to approve the conversion of the house to the barn as designed by the architectural drawings, with the exception of the windows. We need further clarification about what the windows would be.
Are the windows where we can see them? I mean, could we go look tomorrow?
No, they're here in Newburyport
Oh,
with the builder. I will get all the information from him and send it to Joe, or I'll have the builder send it to Joe tomorrow.
Is there a second?
Yep, I need a second.
Who is the second?
I second Lisa Beneke. Can you hear
Thank
me?
you. Yep, thank you, Lisa. Second.
Okay.
Further discussion? Roll call vote?
Hi, Kelly Schmidt.
Hi, Lisa Beneke.
Hi, Bonnie Anderson.
Hi, Kirsten Alexander.
I, Mary Wood, provided we get to see the windows.
Okay.
Alrighty. Yes, thank you, Matthew. If you want to send those to me as soon as you can, we'll go from there. Thanks for
Okay.
joining us again.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good night.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye. Okay, Kelly, just for the sake of time, I do have Bill Garbati here from Energy Systems Group, if you're okay with allowing him to present to the commission. This is regarding the potential solar canopy project behind Town Hall. And ESG, as we call them, have been spearheading the HVAC geothermal project over at Town Hall that's been ongoing. We're currently going into the second phase, and should be done in early November. So we've been working with them for over the better part of a year now. And this is a potential project, has not been brought before the select board yet, but we wanted to just keep everyone in the loop because it falls within the historic district.
Thank you, Joe. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for having me. I sent the share request through. I don't know if anybody can approve it, and we put a couple slides together to talk about the project and show a couple illustrations.
I think I did, Bill. I think you should be
Okay.
good.
So let's see, what am I sharing? What are you seeing? Okay, let me see. You see anything?
No, not yet, but I can actually I can share it for you. I have your power. It's the one from earlier today.
Yes.
Okay, let me share. Just let me know when you want me to go through this.
Okay. Actually, I think I needed to hit share again after I sent the request. So if you approved it, let's see. So I can share that now. Okay.
Yes, you can see it.
Okay. So as Joe mentioned, we are working on the electrification and decarbonization of the town hall. And what I want to talk to you a little bit about that project, the timeline that we've been working under, what the proposed canopy project looks like, and then going forward, some of the steps we take if you approve. So Wenham is going to have one of the first historic town halls that is going to be fully electrified and decarbonized. That's where we convert the heating and cooling systems to be electric through heat pump technology. In this particular case, we're using geothermal variable refrigerant flow heat pump system with energy recovery ventilation. So it's also addressing some indoor air quality over there. And so you won't be burning any gas, oil, or propane on site anymore. So it's decarbonized from that perspective, but you're still buying power from the grid. And we know that the grid is still using a number of sources from fossil fuels. So to fully net zero the building, you'd install some behind the meter generation, typically solar. We're looking at canopy solar, and we'll talk a little bit about why we chose canopy over other options. Back in September, about a year ago, we were awarded an energy performance contract to do this work through a procurement that the town did. And in November, the board approved the project. It then went to sign a contract by the end of the year. They were able to leverage some ARPA funding that was going to run out. We were able to get a $500,000 Green Communities grant for the project, which was awarded in March. And then we went to town meeting and began construction in May, and we'll be finished up in about another month or so. This canopy solar is about 90 kW DC. It would achieve net zero. That, in other words, the array over the year of its production would be enough to wholly make the power that the town hall would need to support, lighting, heating, cooling from the geothermal system and such. We're leveraging the new SMART program, the 3.0 program in Massachusetts that's promoted more municipal and small scale canopy work, and the investment tax credit from the federal government. But time is of the essence there because in about a year that sunsets and there will be no more solar incentives worth about $250,000 on this project. This covers about 12 car spaces behind town hall and the surrounding drive into those. It's about 75 by 60 feet. It is behind town hall. There's a possibility to add some EV charging to support more, further decarbonization and goals that the town has. So the benefits to the town would be that it does achieve net zero. We actually, when we got the Green Communities grant, we said it would be best efforts to also net zero the property. It's a competitive grant, and that helped us to achieve that $500,000 for the geothermal project. It does support Wenham's master plan, right? You have a goal to add more solar in the community and more renewables. So it does support that. It supports the state's goal to net zero by 2050. And projects have to keep coming online to kind of get to that goal, even though it's a little far off. It also makes economic sense because it becomes a long-term hedge against your power prices. You're going to own this, and therefore you don't have to go buy power now in the open market, which can fluctuate quite a bit and will likely only go up. This is what's called a helioscope. This shows the footprint of the array. This is a little trigger happy here. Hang on a second. So from orientation, this is the town hall. This is the main road up here across the top left corner. This is the museum here. And this is the back, this is the middle parking lot. The back parking lot, unfortunately has a lot of trees which create shading and make the solar inefficient. The slope here of the grassy area was too much of a slope, a quick hit for a ground mount. And we wanted to stay away from anything up front on the fields or on the roof of Town Hall itself. You will see that at times it could be visible from the road depending on the angle, but it is blocked by Town Hall. Now, this is the best picture that we had available. Yours would be about half the size because this is about twice as big. But this is what the structures look like. It would be sloping away from Town Hall down. And we anticipate about 3 pylons where you could add EV charging. But this is roughly what a canopy solar looks like. So we're timeline for this project is to seek approvals through the various boards and commissions like yourself in the next 3 months. There's some rules around that investment tax credit. So we actually have to physically get started by July. It likely has to go to town meeting, but there's other applications for the SMART program for the to secure a bid and a incentive, which we're anticipating about $330,000 incentives over the life of the project, 20 years. There's an interconnection application, which can take some time with the utility to line up to connect these to the system. It's about a 6-month construction period. And we're looking to probably go live in the fall of next year. So, within a year, this could be a reality. What questions can I answer for you all?
Mary,
you're on mute.
The land there, that land, just
Kelly, we're having a hard time hearing you. I know you'll get back into a good zone. Let me just ask a quick question. Thank you, Bill, for a great presentation. I love this, and I love how much it's aligned to our master plan. Thank you for weaving that into your presentation. I'm simply not aware of, what the market costs are. How would you say, like, is your offering like middle of the market? No, I'm not asking quality. I'm just asking of costs to be able to defend this investment. Is it
Yeah, so
middle of the market, high of the market, low of the market? Thank you.
I would say that we were chosen on a competitive basis through a solicitation. It's very transparent in terms of how we will share with like finance committee and others the financials.
Thank you. I did not know that. Thank you.
Yes.
Question on the is everything underneath parking, or would there potentially be room for like a picnic table?
There is a island that is next to the parking lot and the access to the rear parking and kind of like at the museums on the right. I believe that will overhang that, and that there could be a picnic table put there. Joe, you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I do. Yep.
Yep.
That should be okay, I would think.
Yep.
Okay. It says it is a very sunny area. So I think this is exactly what the kind of project we've been anticipating on this committee for the last few years, knowing that solar was going to come, and how do we balance out historic preservation and the very real needs in terms of, saving the planet basically, and also lowering our our costs. And having worked at town hall, I know that it's very, very hot and sunny in that spot, and making things hotter because there's tarmac there. So while it is unusual to add something that is visible from the road in particular, I'm in support of the project. I think it's a really important thing for the town, and I also think that we need to be looking at this as a model for other people to use at their homes, potentially in the historic district. So it's really important to do it right and make sure it's really attractive, whatever it is, if we move forward with it. So that's sort of where my thought is at this point.
Yeah.
Can you all hear me now?
Yes.
Can you all? Okay, sorry about this. I apologize. It wasn't good timing when I got looped into driving. My concern is that we, our charge as the commission is to preserve the historic nature of the town of Wenham. This building was saved, the town hall was saved to keep. They originally wanted to knock it down. It was saved through the prior chair many years ago. Right next door, we have the Wenham Museum with one of the oldest buildings in New England. And we unfortunately also have this very unsightly fire department brick next door. I don't know how that got passed, but it did. I understand the need for alternative energy. I get it. And I know this supports the town plan, but I don't know, one, how much energy, I mean, is the canopy and the panels that go there going to make it fully net zero?
Yes.
So it's not relying on any energy. And was one of my questions, but I think we really need to think this through. I mean, I have no idea what the perspective looks like. I don't have no idea how tall these things are. I don't know if they can be placed better. I just don't want to assume this placement without really having a view of this, just to put a belief, like when I'm in construction and when we do designs for future projects, we'll create a model as built, and then we'll overlay the designs. So I really need to see, and I think we all need to see what these are actually going to look like. Because the last thing I want to do is install something that supports all our missions, but it's god awful to look at. And I think there can be a nice blending of the two, the technology embracing the solar, which serves the needs of the building and our overall mission with master plan, but also has some adherence to the historic preservation, specifically of that area.
Yeah, that makes
So,
sense.
Bill, can you and your team, I don't want to green light it with we need to do a site walk. I need to see, specs, all that stuff. I don't want it to be, it's going to be a change, and I want it done correctly.
Yeah. So great questions, and a couple things. One is welcome the site walk, and we could talk about some of the other options that we looked at that we actually think would be worse from a site standpoint. Canopy, these canopy solars. Also, I hear questions about shading and weather related concerns for parking and just activity. And so sometimes people have these even without solar on them. So, there's this sort of acceptance.
Oh, I get it. We build them for universities and Endicott College and everybody like that. I get it, but you got to understand, this is our charge. Like if you were talking to the planning department or somebody else, you might get totally different feedback, but our charge is to preserve the nature of this. You just heard us talk about, 20 years ago when Tendercrop wanted to be board and batten. Like That's really not in our guidelines to say, no, you can't do it, but they did it back then. So this is solar, this is this is steel, this is, things that weren't built. This is all new materials coming into a very historic, charming area. And town hall and then the museum next door are about as historic as we can get with the church across the street. So I want to make sure that if this is going to go forward, that we're preserving it, we're building it, so it's going to blend in as best as possible. Maybe there has to be some landscaping in between. Maybe there has to be, I don't know. I've never worked with anybody that's done solar in this capacity yet, but I just can't say, let's green light solar. I'm going to have a 60-foot, canopy 30 feet deep. And we didn't really think through it.
No, you're right. And one of the things we are going to work on is a rendering, an actual rendering of the specific solar project versus a simulated picture. And get you some additional facts around the height and the number of stanchions that are part of that. So I don't know if there's shrubbery that could be put high enough, kind of in the area where we just did the geothermal wells and tied those in. As part of that project, we were able to get rid of that big ugly compressor that was pretty good size on that side of the building. So now all the air conditioning is in the ground or in the building in the basement, and so that's good. And even if you did put shrubbery, obviously you could look down the access road to the museum and to the back of the town hall, and you can't cover that. So there would be a little bit of view, but maybe there's ways to mitigate that. But so any other questions or feedback that we could take into consideration here?
Joe, could you show the picture again, right where the blue square was?
I think Bill has control of the presentation.
That last
You
picture.
got it? You see that? Oh,
It's awful.
I'm sorry. Can you see it? Okay. Yeah, so this
It's
is
not
just
going to look nice at all.
It looks like it's taking up all the parking.
correct. This was the parking. It covers the parking and then the drive over around it. And there was the island around here. That's where there's an island that you could put the picnic table there.
Could it go like on top of the building in the back? What's
Well, it's
that
not going to
shape?
take parking away, correct, Bill? It's just going.
But no,
over
it's not taking
Yeah.
parking away.
It's gonna provide shaded parking, which is,
Oh, so people are gonna park underneath that.
Yes.
Exactly.
It's a canopy, yeah, it's a canopy.
Okay, I just can't say enough that it's such an eyesore and will make it look industrial and will ruin that quaintness of this particular spot. It's just my personal opinion.
I agree with Lisa, but I also we've got to weigh the cost and the benefit. This is already on, at the high school and middle school is not in the Hamilton Historic District, if I'm correct, but correct me if I'm wrong. But still,
They're not very strict in Hamilton.
well, nonetheless, thank you for that. But I don't know if it's in or out of the district, but it's nonetheless on Bay Road. And it's very visible and it's not cute, but it's very practical. And I put practicality and money saving and aligning with the master plan over cute or over, yeah. I mean, that's just my opinion. Lisa, I respect what you're saying. You're not wrong. It's not cute, but it's necessary. If we're gonna pay zero electric bill ever again in town hall.
Well, you're paying for the installation of this thing. I have no idea what the costs are. I don't know if it was on the town warrant before.
Yeah.
But what I was saying earlier, there has to be, I mean, we can't make a yes or no decision right now. This is going to be a couple conversations moving
Yeah.
forward. Bill, I'd like to see renderings. I'd like to see different angles of, how this would look like if you're standing from the museum per se, or you're standing on the side of the, historic building, you're driving down 1A. I would like to see all those perspectives. I'd like to understand what the materials would be used for the podium itself, and what alternatives are, considering that we are in a historic district. I would also like to see if there's any sort of design plans that we could integrate more, either a green screen in front of it, or break up the canopy. So 60 feet, maybe you have some plantings in between, so it looks more integrated into the landscape. So those are my thoughts. And then it also, we don't have any per se over the economic impact or the cost of these things, but it would just be nice to know for the committee. Or I could probably follow up with Joe and get that information maybe.
Also, if we allow this, what's going to happen to the rest? Everybody's going to say, you did this and you let the church do that, and suddenly the whole historic district is going to be solar panels.
Well, we don't have any, right, but this is the issue, Mary. We don't have, when this first came forward and Joe reached out, we don't have any guidelines right now around solar, right?
And that's why we're
We
doing.
do have guidelines, what materials can be used. And so why I'm saying is, we're not saying a yes or no right now. What we are saying, if we are going to move forward with this, it's got to be done in a way that it adheres more with what historiology and keeping within the master plan. So, Bill, another thing to add to your list is, where in other towns can you give examples of what they've done?
I also think we need to bring in emergency services, the direct abutters whose garage would be right next to this, and the Wenham Museum into the discussion.
That's a good point.
Yeah. But I think particularly because we've dug up like the whole sideline of Town Hall, there is an opportunity to do some pretty high plantings there, which would make it much less visible from Wenham. And really, until you came into the parking lot.
It's macadam. You can't really plant in macadam.
No, there's a lot of grass in there. And right now it's all been dug up for the geothermal.
Oh.
Yeah.
Joe, what was the budget for this? And was that already
The whole
approved?
parking lot's been dug up?
No, next to Town Hall.
I know
right
that.
side.
That's not where this is going, right?
No, but the plantings would block the view from 1A of this.
Oh, I see. Oh, right.
And back of the building. So on that side, next to the Wenham Museum, it would be visible from 1A unless there were additional plantings.
Bill, do you have an estimated price point on this they wanted to share, or are you still looking into it?
I think this like all solar deals, they're typically about 20 years to sort of pay for themselves, and that's about $800,000.
How much?
800,000.
And what do we pay currently for our utilities?
Per year.
I'd have to get that.
Hang on a second.
Yeah, I don't have that offhand, but
yeah, I think those kinds of things were very persuasive with the church project across the street. And I'm appreciative that you didn't come saying, let's put it on the roof of Town Hall, because that's be a much harder.
Good evening, Cypher guys.
I mean, in 20 years, the technology may have changed so much that you wouldn't need to even do something like this anymore.
Yeah.
These are not necessarily permanent structures that will be there forever and protected. And we could write permits and permissions in a way that's clear too.
So you're currently paying about $25,000 a year in energy costs.
To heat that whole building, that seems low.
Yeah.
That's what, that's what I see in the model. And of that dollar amount, the federal incentive will be about 250,000, and then the state level incentive will be about 330,000. And then the savings from there.
250 plus 330, is that correct?
Yeah, then plus savings each year, because you technically won't have an electric bill.
So $580,000. I'm sorry, just please be clear with me. You're saying $580,000 would be given to Wenham to pay for the $800,000 cost?
Correct.
Okay, so then the cost to Wenham is,
300.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay, so
So,
yeah, 270?
yep, and you pay for that with the savings each year, by not paying the electric bill. So,
And over 8 years, you're saying?
well, it depends on how it gets funded, like if it gets financed, there's, like 5% finance, a tax exempt lease is about 5% right now. So that would cash flow in, to some of those costs. So net, it pays for itself. And then you own it.
Go ahead, sorry.
No, then you own it. So after that, it's something that you own.
I don't know if we want to own it though. Like, has this begun to anybody else yet, Joe? Any other commissions? Did Bonnie go to planning?
Not this particular project. The select board has sort of given their blessing for the solar panel project at Iron Rail, though, although it's not in the historic district. That would be a leasing project, though. But no, because this is squarely in the historic district, the town administrator wanted the HDC to be informed first.
I just have one follow-up question. So, okay, so $270,000 is what we would be asking Wenham homeowners to approve or pay, or what we would approve or pay, or whatever it goes.
It would be out of existing operating budget, so technically.
Kelly said we're not going to vote on it tonight, of
Yeah.
course. But I just want to understand, and this is for everybody, like 5%. I'm not up on like rates this second, but that sounds pretty good. So I don't want to feel happy about it. I want to look into that. And I would just ask anybody here who's more up on interest rates of the market today or like over the last 45 days, like reality check us either now or later, because that's another part of it. And then lastly, I'll just state that if it's over 8 years and it's 270,000 plus whatever the interest would be, I'm just not a mathematician that fast, but I don't know that the math still maths on this. So that's just I'm so passionate about this, but if it doesn't add up, like that's my number one concern for our.
But yeah, and we work with Jeff Soulard and the finance committee on that. So we'll work with Jeff Soulard and the finance committee, and they'll share that as deemed appropriate with everyone who has to vote on it. And we're not asking people to pay for it because you're going to pay $25,000 plus for your energy anyway. So we're just saying, use it to buy your own solar instead of paying Eversource.
I bought my own solar like 5 years ago. I'm so on board with you.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to protect this group and all of our community members, and really, and myself from like all the questions that are going to be asked. So thank you.
So I would actually suggest for expediency is to sort of get all the ducks in a row, all the questions answered, and have a joint public hearing with multiple committees to try to get any community input we need and move to votes if there's it seems like a pretty tight deadline to reach any federal and state grants. But certainly I think we can be really good feedback on placement and how to make it as attractive as possible and bring in the Wenham Museum and about. And then, but if there's a lot of committees involved, then a joint meeting, Joe, you'd be more on that, but might just be more efficient time-wise.
I think it would be helpful to do a site visit, as somebody already suggested.
I don't need a site visit, and I appreciate the recommendation from Kirsten, like we should eventually have a joint meeting, but leaving this meeting, I don't yet have enough information to ask other committees to come in and have yet more conversations about stuff. Like I want to just have information on paper before that happens. And then I agree, Kirsten, we should do that. And then Mary, I think after that, sure, we could do that. I personally don't need it. I'm there so much, but I welcome anyone. I don't think it's a bad idea.
Yeah. The other group to bring in early on would be fire and police, because they're in there a lot. If there's any change to like where posts are, you know, how you get in and out of that space, because it's pretty tight in the back, especially.
It can't be put further back. You said there will be interference from trees.
There's a slope.
There's a slope that goes up to where the historic fire truck is. And then there's that extra lot up on the top, which currently has a lot of trees, although I think we own those trees probably, so.
Yeah, I guess also, I mean, within the site selection, I mean, looking at the site, if there was any other suggested locations, I
That's why-
haven't been back that way.
Be nice to do a site visit to see.
That's definitely the most hidden area in the town hall parking areas. Everything else would be much more visible from the street.
Kirsten, when you say the most hidden area, you're talking about like up on the hill by Enon number 1?
No, this particular location as mapped out is going to be the least visible from 1A because the building is blocking the view and the fewest trees blocking it. Yeah. Like it's logical.
We're trying to balance building the right size and minimizing, you know, the area to do that and get net zero, as well as create economies of scale just for the project, right? So you got to, once you're in, you got to put steel up. We're just trying to maximize all that, and it's a very tight space all the way around. So that's the natural spot that we came to. So,
Bill, if it were bigger and covered more of the parking lot, wouldn't we then be generating revenue for the town?
Yes, but it may not be worth it. I mean, you get like wholesale market of energy only, and then of course you're just going to create a bigger scene to look at. So I'm not sure if that fits the goal. It seems to be starting to move away from the goal, but you're right. And to make it smaller doesn't really save a lot of money, and then you compromise the net zero.
Okay, so Bill, are you clear with what we need? Should we recap?
Yeah, so I'll review with Joe about how we might address some of the other committee needs. We'll talk with Jeff Soulard about the financials and how he wants to present those. We'll look at other town examples. But I will say, you know, you're kind of leading in the state in a lot of areas with historic town halls being, you know, net zero buildings. And then we'll get some renderings done with some multiple viewpoints from the road, from the museum. Anything else that you think I missed?
And then just include what the canopy, like the structure of the canopy, what the materials would be, and if there's any more natural alternatives. There probably isn't, but I just wanted to ask.
Yep.
And then any landscape considerations?
Yep.
I don't know. Do you normally get that question asked? Do you work with somebody to help with that? And I don't, do you do mostly commercial projects?
Yes,
Or-
yep, we don't do
Okay.
residential. Yeah, that's not an unreasonable question. We can talk about some landscaping. I think the natural thing is to where the areas that has already been disturbed, that's along the edge of the lawn and the whole parking lot. Anything under the canopy wouldn't work. Plus, it's just, you're really, except for that little bit of island where we've been asked to maybe put a picnic table, it's all parking lot now anyway, so you wouldn't introduce shrubbery in the parking lot because it would interfere with the parking of vehicles and driving to them. And it wouldn't really block the view. So, but something like an abrevieties, is that like, those tall thin abrevieties that can grow tall?
I can't envision anything, but anything like if you have a landscape designer on your plan, or if you outsource that to somebody, just their thoughts of what it would look like and incorporate that in the renderings, I think would be really helpful for us.
Okay.
I just, I just don't want to leave anything to guessing, so overbuild it in a rendering.
Okay.
Okay, all righty.
So, but
Thanks,
I think
Bill.
I'm hearing in
you.
general, I mean, you look to try to find a way to make it work, right? So we're not really heading down a path that this is something that you don't really want at all.
I don't think we're one way or the other right now. I just don't think we have enough information. I mean, I think we're kind of split right now, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
And we just don't have enough information. And I'm the chair, and I didn't know how this came in. Like, typically another committee would have approved or given good input to go ahead and proceed with this, and we would give a opine on the actual design or materials use or placement, right?
Okay.
But nobody, it seems like nobody has. So if you're our first stop, we need all the supporting data now, and once we have all those supporting data and renderings and things that we normally opine on, then we need to bring in some other groups for us to have that discussion, the fuller discussion.
Yeah, and we had planned to do that. I think Joe and Steve thought it'd be good to touch base with this group first. The board is aware when we submitted for the GO, because they're aware of the grant that we submitted. It did include, solar. So they're aware of it. They haven't seen, obviously, any details yet, so. So appreciate the time. We'll coordinate when we can start feeding this group. I think you meet once monthly, but we can also send things around as we get them. And I'll work with Joe on a path forward to get the approvals needed.
Bill, and I would also recommend
Okay,
talking
great.
First Church, which had an excellent presentation to us with a cutting edge solar project last year, I think.
Who is that?
The First Church right across the street.
Okay, First Church, okay.
And there may be people who worked on that project who could support you.
Okay.
I just have one last comment. First is a question to Bill. Do you feel like you are walking away from this meeting knowing what you need to do next, other than like find out from Joe? And I ask that because I'm not really clear what it is we're asking you to do next, but I know what it is I need to see next time we meet. I just want to make sure those things align.
Yeah, so I went through the list, and so you've been asked to see other town examples. The renderings from multiple viewpoints with possibly some landscaping consideration. What are the exact materials that are going to be used in the structure? Jeff Soulard will review the financials and share those as appropriate. And then there are groups. I'll probably work through Joe, whether, the timing of when we talk to fire, police, finance committee, board. And if we went out of order, I was just kind of going by town guidance. I think they just wanted to get a gut check here. So more about the things that you normally would opine on. I think we got into deeper questions around the overall project, which is fine. But is there something else that, and then there was a recommendation to talk to First Church. And I don't know if there's a contact there. I could just call over there.
Yeah, I can connect you with them, Bill.
Okay.
That was,
And,
thank you, Bill. That was excellent. That was a great punch list. Thank you.
all right, good. Good.
Alrighty, so good. So Bill, just feed the information to Joe, and then Joe puts a nice package together, and then we send our
Awesome.
feedback too. But please assume that we'll talk again within a month. Usually we meet on the third Thursday of the month.
Third Thursday. Okay. Well, Kelly and team, thank you very much.
Thanks, Bill.
All right. Have a good evening.
We'll
Thanks.
talk soon. Yep. Bye. All right. Yep. So the last thing we just had on the agenda was just if folks had, I didn't actually get any feedback from the guidelines that I amended from the last discussion. I know Mike was going to send me some. He hasn't gone around to it yet, but did folks get a chance to look at the guidelines? Once it's approved, I can go ahead and look for consultants, and we could, I could bring them over to the next meeting as well. I just want to make sure I captured everyone's request correctly before I, go out and pursue the procurement side of things with the guideline project. The money, like I said, last time is already set aside. I confirmed with Jeff Soulard, we have the $50,000 through the capital budget, all ready to go. But I just wanted to make sure the guidelines look okay. I'm sorry, the scope of work looks okay for the guideline project.
It would help me to go through it just as a group. And I'm gonna go turn on my overhead light because it's getting dark out.
Yep. I believe I put it in the package. Yes. All right.
The one, am I muted?
Nope.
Okay. So, sorry, Kelly?
No, go ahead.
All right, thank you. So I believe that the scope of work addresses this, but I just want to ask this question. The most important thing, like what I love about Ipswich, I'll just go out there and fangirl about it. I love that it's a website, that people can just go to the website and click through, and it's not a PDF that they have to like click on and download. That's what, so I believe that this does address it by, but it's not, it's like for digital and print use. So I believe that does address that, but I just want to make sure. I think that for like our current and future residents, the best thing, thinking myself when I moved to town, or if I were about to move to town and I wanted to find out, oh my gosh, I'm moving to Main Street, what do I need to do? If I could go to the website and just click through on my phone, like that's, other than obviously the language being clear and our guidelines being aligned and with our master plan and our mission, I believe the deliverable is almost just as important as the content. So I just want to ask that question: is that included, the website access?
I don't know if it's explicitly included, but I can certainly add it though. Just I'll take a look at Ipswich as well, just so I can get an idea. But I can certainly add that. I know we definitely want to have just a concise and clear template going forward. I don't know that the website itself is listed here, but I can certainly add that.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
digital, but like maybe just to make it super clear for anyone who's gonna, throw their hat in the ring for this.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
I think we do need a PDF though, because like we need this is the 2026 guide from this commission and lists all the names of the people, and then that can be updated every 2 years or whatever the commission wants. But I found it very helpful to find those like fixed reports from this commission. And
I agree, and I'm like that too. I print out, like I have a low footprint printer, I totally agree with you, but there is a group of people out there who don't print anything.
Yeah.
I'm not them.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, we have a brand new website, and we can add whatever we want, but if we only rely on that for these guidelines, then they change over time and you forget, like, things get tweaked, and then wait, what was the actual rule, can get a little lost too.
Yes, in fairness, like a PDF is it's like almost an analog document. It has to be updated based on what? Based on a record, which is normally on what's on our town website, right? Or I won't speak, you know more about our town website than I do, but I'm just speaking in general. That is like normally where the content would be pulled from for the PDF. So that's all I'm asking is like these two things sing along together in a melody.
Any other comments? My red lines are from the last, I rewatched the last recording from the last meeting, so I added what I believe was asked. Like I said, I haven't heard back from Mike. He did have a few comments, and I will certainly add those as well.
Is your goal to send this out on Monday, Tuesday?
As soon as it's approved, I certainly can, as early as next week, I could start contacting consultants. Yep, there's, like I said, a couple times before, there's at least two companies that have expressed interest, one of which is Dodson Flinker, who they were the ones that conducted the iron rail best use study. And then there's another one, Skelly Preservation, who has not worked with the town prior, but this is the sort of work they do. Their expertise seems to be historic guideline writing. They've expressed interest as well. I did check with JM Goldson. Unfortunately, they're not currently doing this type of work. They might have in the past. I think they might even have helped Ipswich out, but not currently. They're not doing that work currently.
Okay. And so the process ends, once you submit it, then we'll get the proposals back, review the proposals and the references, and then make a vote to go with one of them, and then then the guidelines are in process. Is that correct?
Yeah, I don't even think you can certainly vote. I think as long as, like I said, if it's under 50,000, I can actually just obtain 3 valid quotes from different companies and go from there. But looks like Kirsten she's coming back in the meeting. But I don't think there has to necessarily be a vote from the committee, Kelly. There can be though, if you feel more comfortable with that. But if it's between $10,000 and $49,999, I can just obtain 3 different quotes, and I can bring this back. What if I say, like, I get 4 or 5 people that have contacted me, I can bring this back to the October meeting, and then you could all choose one as well, if you're more comfortable with that.
Yeah, I think that would be fair. I think that would be the best way. So whoever you get proposals from, I think we should review them in advance and then agree to proceed with one of them. And does anyone feel differently, or do you feel like that's the best process? Okay.
I think that's a great process.
Let's do that.
I don't, and you didn't advocate for this, but I'll just reply to what Joe said. I don't think bringing it to the community is a helpful idea right now.
Yeah, no, I wasn't suggesting that. I was just suggesting that we vote on which company writes the guidelines.
No, I agree. And I know, I heard you.
No, I don't want to send it out to the public.
I just wanted to put that out there, but thank you.
Yeah. Okay. All right, so why don't we just try to get any additional changes, thoughts, comments to Joe, Monday? Because Joe, you're off, or it's closed tomorrow, so.
Yeah,
Monday,
I usually have
when
my
close the
computer open on
business?
Fridays though, but whenever folks want to get it to me, it's fine.
Does that
No
sound
problem.
fair?
Yep, just again, please just
I know,
only
but-
send it to me though.
Yeah, but let's right. Right, so why don't we make the guideline, Monday and a business day? Okay. All right. Okie dokie. All right, thank you. And then what else was the agenda? Was it the,
Just
the
minutes.
meeting
If,
minutes, right?
I don't know if Kirsten has the minutes or not, whether,
Guys,
okay. That was yep, that was the only thing left on the agenda,
No
Kelly.
worries. Okay, all right. Does
Oh,
anybody
sorry,
else
real
have any
quick,
other
real
comments,
quick,
questions?
sorry, just the CPC they're having their annual public hearing. Shout out to Bonnie. Next Tuesday, 6:30, it starts at the COA this year. There is a Zoom component as well. If folks want to tune in. They're not even close to accepting applications yet, but this is statutorily a requirement. The CPC has to meet once a year, conduct a public hearing, listen to any comments the public has, and just go from there for fiscal year 2027 for applications. But that'll be next Tuesday. The agenda is on the website. And again, that's at the COA because of the ongoing construction at Town Hall, and there'll be a Zoom option as well.
Joe, question on that. Am I correct in thinking that this commission could be putting aside money for the purchase of historic properties? Let's say a school that is bankrupt.
Yeah, I'd have to, I could look into that. I know right now our budget, we only have,
Commission has money put
yeah.
aside, and other commissions have money put aside, but we do not have money put aside, as far as I know.
Other than the
But we
50,000.
don't, we
but
have
that's
no
for-
revenue source.
Well,
Yeah.
the CPC
I
is
don't- like,
and certain amounts of money
Well,
have to be put aside for historic purposes under the CPC guidelines, which mostly has been renovating town hall.
Right. Like you're talking about the 10% each year, for historic preservation, that's the CPC's budget. But yes, that is set aside for historic preservation, but you have to, I guess they have to approve it though, their board to
Yeah.
distribute the funds. Yeah. But
Fair
yeah,
enough.
yes, you're correct. There is.
So for example, if, say we still don't have our, demolition delay, and there's an incredibly important historic property, but it's going to be torn down, if we had money set aside, we could try to find a way to save it,
Buy
that
it.
those funds. But if we don't have any money, then we don't have that option. So the conservation has money put
CPC would,
for open space or whoever it is.
Yeah, that was through town meeting. That was a
Right.
CPC transfer into that account, so that was a little bit unique. But yes, they do have money set aside in their account.
Just putting a bug in the ear of us to think about that. As we know, there's probably going to be a lot more construction happening in the next few years, and some of our properties might be more at risk. So,
Kirsten, I think that's a great recommendation, and I actually hadn't even thought of it until you said it. And please let me just add, I don't think there's any time to waste in preparing an application, because applications go in to the CPC in the autumn, and it's already autumn. Whoops. Should be, if that's something that's that we identify as a priority for the historic commission, then I don't think there's any time to waste in asking for the money. The worst thing that can happen is that they say no, or asking for money from, you mentioned one other body, the Preservation Commission.
Oh, conservation.
Conservation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think there's any time to waste, because the worst thing they could say is no, and I'm sure there are a bunch of developers just chomping at the bit for that gorgeous property. I don't know. I've separated myself from it because
we wouldn't have anywhere near that kind of money, but
we have no money, I don't think.
Right. Thing came up, we would be able to contribute potentially if every year we were putting a little money aside. That was my thought.
yeah, no, I think it's a great idea. I just, I never thought about that before, so there's got to be an allocation from our taxes that provides some money into our fund.
It is, yeah,
There is, yeah, through the CPC though, it's through the CPA.
right.
So there's 10% that's given to historic preservation each year, 10% for community housing, 10% for open space / recreation. But usually you have to ask the CPC
Yeah,
to
but what's
distribute the funds for that purpose.
And first you would apply.
But yeah, to that point though, the Affordable Housing Trust generally, I mean, they ask for funds sometimes through that 10% for community housing. So I mean, that's something the HCC could potentially apply for. You know, it's up to the commission, but.
Yeah, and I think in our bylaws or our charge, it says something about managing that, like town, I don't know, historic properties. Anyway, just look at it all. I just think we're eligible and we haven't done it and we could.
I agree. And
I agree. I think it's good.
oh, sorry, go ahead, Kelly.
No, I agree. I mean, I'm happy to, oh shoot, I'm happy to help with that. I don't know what to do. I mean, Joe, maybe you could walk me through that process too.
Yeah, I'll see if we can, you know, apply for some of that 10% that CPC gets each year toward this. I mean, we do have a small budget, it's $200, but we do have an account. Obviously the 50,000, but that's specific to the guidelines project. So I can look into that.
Thank you.
Is there, Mary and Joe, I'll lean on you. I don't think it's appropriate for me to talk about like what CPC guidelines are in this meeting, like as related to specifically like applying and what the CPC like is and is not able to offer. Joe and Mary, like, do you want to check me on this?
I would just I would just be careful. It's, you know, since it's not on the agenda, if there's something like in particular, it's very specific. Perhaps you could share by, you know, just to be very careful. I just want to, you know, note that it's not on the agenda. So it really should be something that's not anticipated coming up, not reasonably anticipated. But
It feels like we should just go to that information session, as many of us as possible.
So I'm sorry to say, that is my son's 9th birthday and I won't be there. So I appreciate each and every one of you who will be there, but every birthday night, you know, we go out to a special family dinner.
Sure. Anyone else on the committee who can definitely make it?
It's next Tuesday.
yes, 6:30. Yep.
CPC.
Yeah, I think.
I can probably do it.
So it was a little garbled, but I think Lisa was saying you can do
Usually
it.
Tuesdays I've got more flexibility.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I have a question for Mary, and anyone else that knows about it, please chime in, but I'm not up to like the latest Penguin Hall, formerly Mullen, formerly Monastery, whatever info. I have a deep love for that property. And I know that it was sold from Mullen to the Penguin Hall former owners under the, like, with the favorable agreement that it was going to be turned into a school, into a girls' school. You know, that was like a favorable part of the agreement. And I have no aspirations that it should be turned into another school. I think we have enough schools in our town. That's just my personal opinion. Is there any more recent information that I'm not privy to that you feel that you want to share about what's up with that property right now, like where it stands, interested parties, anything? Because I would love to see it. I want that property to remain how gorgeous it is. And I would love for it to serve Wenham more than it has since it was Mullen.
I don't know anything about, oh, did you ask me?
That should be an agenda
auction-
item we're getting into. Right? Unless that's new
Yeah,
business.
I'll just say quickly that the auction was, the auction was just canceled. You can call the broker. The auction was canceled on Tuesday. And there is interest.
Oh, it was?
That's all I can say.
Because if it's a developer, Kirsten, I appreciate what you're saying. I mean, I did not anticipate this before
Sure.
it was brought up, but if it's a developer that's gonna make it into like a bunch of townhouses, that is sad for our town.
This is where the demolition delay,
I agree. You're right. You're right. You're right.
because right now there's nothing stopping anyone from tearing it down. And
Which
I,
would be a shame.
I don't think it's gonna go there. So John Wise, who's a senior living developer, was in negotiations with Jim Mullen to make it into senior living. John Wise did senior living. And that's why the overlay exists in Wenham. And they even took deposits down for it. We were the name architect, or Wendover was the name architect, or GC, EGA was the name architect. And Wise pulled out, and then it was sold to the family that then opened the school, who also is in construction. And then they went into receivership.
yeah,
Thank you.
I heard that Mullen held a big mortgage for that school, but I don't know whether that's true.
so it seems like that would
I
be
don't think so. There's
to,
also other issues on it, like,
yeah. Like, is it
So-
on the register, for example? Not that that stops anything, but
is it
what?
on the historic register?
I would assume it's on the National Register of Historic Places, but that, we should look that up
I don't know whether
that-
that's true.
Right.
from tearing it down though. If it were a landmark, that would be
Right.
different. So if we are interested in keeping that property, then we should be talking now about that. I mean, keeping it as a building,
Yeah, I'm protecting it.
right?
I wholeheartedly agree.
I don't, just from a construction standpoint, the original building that's there, that was never in back then and now. I don't think everyone's intending to pull it down. I think around it, they have ideas about building around it. There's also wetlands back there, and there's also an issue around, you'd have to bring your own sewer system in. And you'd also have to bring in, you've got to figure out the water supply.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, beautiful building, and the renovations were amazing. Looked at it for my daughter, actually.
okay, it's now 7:30. Is there's anything else, guys? No? Okay, so just to recap, so Monday end of business, send any other additional changes regarding the scope to Joe, please, directly to him. And then everyone can do their own due diligence about solar and historic communities. And it looks like Bill had his ducks in a row in terms of what he needs to pull together. So hopefully we'll get some good feedback at our next meeting. And Joe, you need to, to pull in the other two committees, speak with them. I'm happy to speak with their chairs as well to understand, maybe the three committees have a pre-meeting, the chairs have a pre-meeting. I don't know what the guidelines allow that.
Planning and
I-
select
it-
board,
it-
Kelly?
And it was nice for us to, yeah. Because this is a big deal. So, it was nice to go first, but I don't want to be the one that's green light. We can't green light this. Like, that's where I felt the gentleman was asking us to give our opinion, yes or no. nobody has enough knowledge. So I don't know how to pull that together.
I agree, Kelly. I mean, Bill sounded like he had a good grasp on what he needs to do and like pull that together and give it to Joe. I felt good about that punch list. I couldn't rattle it off to you right now, but like specific renderings, materials, what it will look like from 1A. I think that if he can come back with that, I won't speak for everyone here. I think that would give me a much clearer vision into what it will look like. And that would be the info I would need to then ask other people to come join in and look at it together. Like Kirsten recommended, which I agree with.
I think maybe the chair is doing an on-site visit, raising whatever questions, maybe you bring in the fire chief, you know, whatever, or the Wenham Museum, that like a pre-meeting to get out major issues in advance would be the smart thing for them to do.
Like a pre-meeting before all this info comes in?
Yeah.
But not a meeting of a quorum of any committee. Right, so that is allowed.
I appreciate your perspective. I would not get value from that. I
You guys
need
just give me
info to meet before I even come back and talk about it again, you know? That's just my perspective, but that's just me. I'm not saying no, I'm just saying
So-
I could be there, it just wouldn't help me.
Joe, why don't I call you Monday if you're off tomorrow, just to get some more feedback or some more guidance on how this should come together legal, you know, so we don't get in trouble.
Sure, happy to chat further about that. No problem. I can bring in Steve as well.
Okay, yeah, that would be really helpful. Okay, alrighty. So with that, I'm going to conclude this meeting. If nobody has anything else, it's 7. No, everyone good? Okay, good. The time now is 7:30 p.m. Thursday, September 18th, 2025. Make a motion to close the meeting for the Wenham Historic District Commission.
Seconded.
Favor? Aye. Okay, okay. All right. All right. Okay. Everyone, I thank you for your time tonight. It was super helpful, super productive. And we will see you at the next meeting, if not have feedback and dialogue before.